Good morning, and thank you for joining us for RMU Live. Today is Monday, March 11th, 2019. I'm Gage Golding.
And I'm John Blinn. We hope you had a great spring break. Wide receiver Antonio Brown has reportedly ended his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers after announcing a trade on social media. In the upcoming season, Brown will be playing for the Oakland Raiders. He took to Twitter posting a picture in an Oakland Raiders uniform early Sunday morning. Our very own Michael Shuley has been tracking the details of the trade all weekend and is live in the studio with the latest. Mike?
Thank you, John. And yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers have decided to trade star wide receiver Antonio Brown to the Oakland Raiders. The now 30-year-old receiver had a solid 2018 season, posting nearly 1,300 yards, and he led the league with 15 touchdowns. In return for the now known as Mr. Big Chest, the Steelers will be receiving a 3rd round and a 5th round pick in this year's draft. As one would expect, there would be some sort of reaction from social media with the size of this trade. One of Brown's former teammates, Juju Smith-Schuster, took to social media and he sent out a cryptic Twitter post that shows Smith-Schuster catching a touchdown pass against the Raiders with his former teammate Antonio Brown in the background with a caption of "I'm ready." That, of course, alluding to Juju now taking on the #1 role in the Steelers' offensive receiver position. As for the Pittsburgh Penguins, they played 2 games this weekend. On Saturday, they dropped their first contest to the Columbus Blue Jackets by a score of 4-1. Luckily for the Penguins, they were able to bounce back yesterday and pick up a 4-2 victory over the Boston Bruins. Jared McCann scored twice en route to the Penguins' victory. The Pens will be back in action tomorrow when they host the Washington Capitals. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, their spring training continued this weekend with 2 games, but unfortunately for the Buccos, they fell in both of those contests. The first game was on Saturday when the Bucks fell to the Minnesota Twins by a score of 10-1, and then on Sunday, the Pirates fell to the New York Yankees by a score of 6-5. The Buccos are currently underway right now against the Atlanta Braves. That's all I have for you right now, but I'll be back later. For now, let's go back to the desk to John and Gage.
Search operations are underway after Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crashed, killing all 157 on board.
The Boeing 737 aircraft was en route to Addis Ababa to Nairobi when it lost contact 6 minutes after taking off Sunday. According to an Ethiopian Airlines spokesperson, 32 Kenyans, 18 Canadians, 9 Ethiopians, 8 Americans, 8 Italians, and 8 Chinese nationals were among the passengers. 7 French and 7 British nationals were also on board the flight. The UN issued a statement saying 19 UN staff members were also among those killed. Meanwhile, Ethiopian Airlines has decided to ground all of their fleet of Boeing 737 MAX 8s until further notice. In a statement today, the airline said it was out of, quote, extra safety precaution, end quote.
Nearly 980 residents were without heat Saturday morning after a gas leak took place in Moon Township. As of Sunday, approximately 100 families were still without service, despite more than 50 crews responding to the incident. According to a resident, a gas meter on Western Avenue made a popping sound before the leak was discovered. The direct cause of the leak is still unknown. Residents are asked to contact Peoples Natural Gas with any concerns.
A home in Mount Washington caught fire 2 times in the same day Sunday. That's right, 2 times in one day. Authorities say neighbors saw a TV dish catch on fire on top of the home in the 300 block of Cambot Street. Firefighters found a wire on a satellite dish sparking and then left the scene. Emergency responders returned again once the house caught on fire just 30 minutes later. One firefighter suffered a small hand injury while working to extinguish the flames. Police are investigating an incident overnight Sunday where 5 vehicles were damaged in a hit-and-run crash. Authorities say an orange or yellow Jeep Wrangler struck at least one parked car, causing a chain reaction on Sarah Street in the Southside Flats. The driver fled the scene but then turned himself in on Sunday.
A video of what is believed to be a recording of R&B singer R. Kelly sexually abusing girls has been released to authorities. After clearing out an old videotape collection, Gary Dennis of Pennsylvania came forward saying that he found the footage while sorting through old tapes. Dennis says that he has never met R. Kelly and believes that he received the tape, which also had a sports game on it, from a friend. Dennis's attorney, Gloria Allred, said that she could not be 100% certain if the man in the tape was in fact R. Kelly.
The Art Institute of Pittsburgh has closed its doors officially. Last Friday, the school closed its doors for the last time, leaving more than 2,200 students without a place to attend classes. According to students, the school did not refund their tuition. Students say they were disappointed how the school handled the closing.
Pittsburgh police are searching for a man whose dog bit a woman in Peters Township. Authorities say that a 21-year-old woman was bit on a trail between Peters Township High School and Trinity Drive at around 10:30 a.m. The man was walking two small to medium-sized brown dogs on the trail and is between 6 feet and 6 feet 2 inches tall. The man was last seen wearing a penguin stocking hat, and the woman who was bitten is receiving rabies shots because it is unclear if the dogs were vaccinated. A zookeeper at the Pittsburgh Zoo is receiving praise after she jumped into an enclosure to save a young Nyala. The animal had fallen through a frozen pond in the closure, and the zookeeper quickly took action. Applause from onlookers could be heard as the zookeeper waded into the water and helped the animal back to shore. A spokesperson from the Pittsburgh Zoo says that the incident had no injuries.
A car hit a freeway divider near the presidential motorcade in Alabama, and the whole thing was caught on camera. The video was captured by a bystander who was waiting along Interstate 85 in Lee County. You can see President Trump's multi-car motorcade passing. Then you see smoke and dirt rising in the air as one car runs off the road and scrapes the divider. The car came to a stop a short distance away, but the president's motorcade didn't even stop or slow down. The Alabama Highway Patrol says the Opelika Police Department is investigating the accident.
North Korea is blaming the United States for the failed summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. Now there are new indications of activity at North Korea's rocket and launch sites. CNN's Will Ripley, who's been to North Korea 19 times, including to its biggest launch facility, has the latest.
Just one day after North Korean state TV showed an hour-long documentary touting what it called Kim Jong-un's triumphant and successful Hanoi summit, one full of red carpets and motorcades, handshakes and smiles, tonight North Korean state media is changing course, admitting for the first time that no deal was reached and unloading on the U.S. over the failure, saying in a news story, quote, "The public at home and abroad are feeling regretful, blaming the U.S. for the summit that ended without an agreement."
They are definitely trying to make it seem as though they were ready to cut a deal, that they had a tremendous offer on the table for President Trump, and that it was President Trump who decided to walk away from what they saw as a very good deal.
Initially, both sides kept up a good face during the summit, with Kim telling reporters he would discuss getting rid of his nuclear weapons.
If I'm not willing to do that, I wouldn't be here right now.
But things went south, a source tells CNN, when the U.S. refused to lift all sanctions in exchange for Kim's offer to only shut down his main nuclear fuel factory, and President Trump walked away.
Sometimes you have to walk, and this was just one of those times.
North Korea says they only requested a partial lifting of sanctions. A planned signing ceremony was canceled, along with lunch, and Kim was left feeling bewildered, a source tells CNN. Today, President Trump held out hope the relationship he once described as falling in love won't now fall apart.
I would be surprised in a negative way if he did anything that was not per our understanding, but we'll see what happens.
Analysts say what's happening does not appear to be positive. At this North Korean facility, where rockets are tested, satellite photos show new activity. Kim had been dismantling it last year after tensions with the U.S. began to thaw. But by Saturday, the walls had been rebuilt, and by Wednesday, the roof was restored. A State Department official says the U.S. has not yet determined whether the site is now operational again, but is watching it closely and will ask North Korea for an explanation. Analysts say the big question now is whether the two leaders' relationship is broken or if they'll try to patch things up and reach a deal again.
What comes next? Was the Hanoi summit end of chapter 1 of diplomacy between the two countries, or was it the end of diplomacy between these two countries, and does something much worse, frankly, come next?
Thanks, Will. Some citizens still question that if a deal was made, whether North Korea would have stuck to it.
Penn State is one of more than 24 schools across the country that have been targeted by Chinese hackers. According to the Wall Street Journal, says that hackers tried to steal information on military technology. The university did not release if any information was stolen.
West Virginia's Mill of the Future was reduced to rubble Saturday morning after the building imploded. The Weirton Steel Basic Oxygen Plant was completed in 1967 and stretched for more than 6 acres and ended at the north end of the town. The company that bought the mill set off charges after they finished salvage operations. The site is set to be repurposed for an unknown buyer.
The widow of a West Virginia coal miner that was among 29 killed in the Upper Big Branch mine explosion of 2009 received a settlement from the federal government. The Charlestown Gazette-Mail reports that Carolyn Diana Davis received $550,000 from the federal government. Her lawsuit claimed the United States Mine Safety and Health Administration ignored the warning signs that the mine owned by Massey Energy. The final Chevy Cruze sedan that was assembled at the General Motors Lordstown plant in Ohio now has a new driver. The car came off the assembly line last Wednesday and was expected to be sent to Florida, but was diverted to Warren, Ohio, where a new customer wanted to purchase the sedan. Approximately 1,700 workers are out of work once the Lordstown plant closed.
Despite a dip in the unemployment rate, U.S. job creation fell off sharply last month, reviving concerns about the strength of the economy. The Labor Department's report bunked the recent trend of big monthly job numbers, but some economists say certain factors may have made February a fluke. Karen K. Fu reports from Washington.
After starting the year with a bang, the February jobs report a whimper. The Labor Department says U.S. employers added just 20,000 jobs last month, a steep drop-off from January's 311,000 and well below economists' forecasts. President Trump shrugged off the number, instead pointing to the report's bright spots.
The unemployment rate just went lower. We're down now to 3.8%, so we had very good news on that. I think the big news really was that wages went up. And that's great for the American worker.
Wages did grow 3.4% over last year, and the unemployment rate dipped to 3.8%. Possible factors: winter weather driving down February hiring in key sectors like construction, while retail and hospitality remained flat. And a job market coming back down to earth after some blockbuster months. Some analysts cautioning against reading too much into one report.
You always have to look at jobs numbers in sort of a 3-month group. And if you average it out, we had a great January. We had a really terrible February. That's in part because of weather, warmer weather and then colder weather. If you average it out across 3 months, that's 186,000 a month. That's actually pretty good.
Still, employers have been wary of recent stock market volatility, political battles like the one that triggered the 35-day government shutdown in December and January, trade policy, and a ballooning federal deficit. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Thanks, Karen. For all you need to know about news, sports, arts, and entertainment on campus and around the Pittsburgh region, visit RMU-CentralMedia.com. When we come back from the break, a family gets reunited with their cat that has been missing since wildfires destroyed their home in California.
And the lucky ticket holder to a $1 billion Mega Millions lottery has stepped forward to claim his prize. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dad, I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the waters.
Oh, Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
I was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look! A tractor trailer was struck by a train Saturday morning. The collision happened around 6:30 a.m. on Avenue C in Leetsdale and injured the driver of the truck. Officials say a Norfolk Southern coal car scraped the side of the truck as it passed. The truck was parked parallel to the train tracks. No one aboard the train was injured.
Gunshots that took place in Wilkinsburg resulted in a 16-year-old being transported to the hospital. The gunfire came from the 1500th block of Montier Street, and detectives found several spent shell casings nearby on Maple Street. According to investigators, the victim may have been with two other people prior to being injured. The victim is in stable condition, and the investigation is currently ongoing.
Police in Allegheny County are searching for suspects following an overnight robbery Monday. According to authorities, two men walked into a BP gas station in Penn Hills shortly after 4:30 a.m. Another robbery happened overnight, also involving two men. Police say two men robbed a 7-Eleven Exxon station in Turtle Creek. Anyone with information is asked to call police. According to U.S. Attorney Scott Brady, overdose deaths have dropped sharply in western Pennsylvania. On Friday, Brady said that overdose deaths fell 43% in 2018 across his 25-county area. This decline includes an 11 higher 47% drop compared to 2017 in Allegheny County. Opiates are accounted for the majority of the fatal overdoses, and narcotics and organized crime offices are credited for the drop. A tearful but joyous reunion in St. Louis Friday between a couple who lost their home in California's wildfires and their feline friend. Sandra and Paul Ritchie were driven by fire from their home in Paradise, California. November 8th was the day they fled, and the last day they saw their cat, Dexter. When they say their house was completely engulfed in flames, but Dexter survived. He spent 103 days scratching meals out of the debris before he was found by the Field Haven Feline Rescue Center. Because Dexter had no microchip, they were able to find his mom and dad, and a reunion was set.
We're feeding him a lot. Anybody that doesn't have a microchip on their animals is crazy.
Center says they still have volunteers looking for pets in the area around Paradise. They believe there are still hundreds of cats on the mountain and will think it'll take a couple years to get them all down. It seemed to be warming up today. John is here to tell us more about the weather. Sonu Babu. Sonu?
Oh, well, happy spring break. I hope everyone had a great spring break. We have a beautiful view of downtown Pittsburgh from the north side if you take a look at your screen right now. And it's pretty sunny, and we're seeing a high of 40 we're seeing weather in the high 40s. If you look at today's forecast, it's a high of 46 degrees and a low of 25 degrees tonight with a 61% chance of humidity. If we take a look at the hourly forecast for today at 3 p.m., we're going to be seeing the same 46 degrees weather, but then we're going to see it cooling down a little bit. At 6 p.m., it's 44 degrees, and at 9 p.m., we're going to see the high 30s. And that's all I have for you right now, but I'll be back with the full forecast for today. For now, let's go back to Gage and John on the desk.
And coming up after the break, the lucky ticket holder to the $1 billion Mega Millions lottery has stepped forward to claim his prize. And Sonu Babu is piecing together the full forecast for this weekend. We'll be right back.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. So when I met Narnese, she started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this.
So I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back to RMU Live, and happy birthday, Barbie. The iconic doll turned 60 on Saturday, and not coincidentally, it's National Barbie Day. The Barbie doll debuted at the American National Toy Fair in New York on March 9th, 1959. She got a boyfriend, Ken, of course, 2 years later. Barbie has enjoyed more than 150 careers in her lifetime, everything from being an astronaut to a presidential candidate. To mark the milestone birthday, Barbie maker Mattel transformed a suite at the Hilton Mexico City's Santa Fe into a life-size Barbie heaven. It comes with a pink pool cabana, a life-size dream camper, and a collection of rare Barbies. It's available from March to December. A simpler way to celebrate the birthday, listen and dance to the song Barbie Girl by the band Aqua.
A South Carolina resident has finally come forward to claim a $1.5 billion lottery prize. The winner wants to remain anonymous. Joe Ripley visited the gas station that sold the winning ticket, and he reports.
Usual at the KC Mart.
It's just a normal routine business, nothing excited.
You would never know this store put Simpsonville on the map.
That day was busy.
CJ Patel remembers that day over 4 months ago. Customers swarmed the store, hoping to match the Mega Millions numbers and win the $1.5 billion jackpot.
Sometimes do get, worried, but I guess he was, or whoever is winning, ticket, they must be planning for it, so taking their time.
The winner took 18.5 weeks to claim the one-time cash payout of $877.8 million, the largest jackpot a single player has ever won.
Money changed his family for generations, It must be a heck of a thought.
The state of South Carolina gets $61 million of that in taxes, and the store that sold the winning ticket,
after taxes is going to be somewhere around 25, 23, whatever, thousand, but we'll spend it on the renovation for the stores.
Simpsonville has gotten a little more traffic since then.
Everybody's been visiting this store trying to get a lottery ticket.
And the KC Mart makes sure people know where the winner won. Patel and customers
Wish me luck.
Believe luck.
I'm always going to play, can't win if you don't play.
Can stick around.
It will, many more times. That's what I believe in.
Thanks, Joe. I know that I certainly wouldn't wait that long to claim $1 billion. Now
we head over to Michael Shuley, who's in the Sports Center getting ready to break down everything Colonials.
And also when we come back from the break, Sonu Babu has a full look at this week's weather. Stay right with us. We'll be back.
I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to RMU Live, and a highlight for the RMU Athletics Department this weekend, the men's hockey team reaching the Atlantic Hockey quarterfinals for the 9th consecutive year after the Colonials swept the Holy Cross Crusaders in 2 games this weekend. RMU won the first game of the series 1-0, and they finished the series on Saturday with a 3-2 victory against the Crusaders. Goaltender Francis Marat was huge in net this weekend, stopping 58 of the 60 shots that he faced. As for the women's hockey team, unfortunately for them, their season came to an end this weekend when they fell to the Syracuse Orange by a score of 6-2 in the CHA Championship. JC Gebhardt and Caitlin Sadaway were the goal scorers for the team on the night. The men's basketball team's season also came to an end this weekend when they fell to the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights in the NEC semifinals on Saturday by a score of 66-62. Matty McConnell ended his career as a Colonial by putting up 17 points. The RMU women's basketball team will be back in action tonight when they host the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights in the first round of the NEC tournament. That game will tip off at 7 p.m. In other news for the women's basketball team, Coach Charlie Biscaglia won his third straight Brenda Riley, NEC Coach of the Year award. Nneka Ezebo was named NEC Defensive Player of the Year, and freshman Isabella Posset was named to the All-Rookie team. As for the RMU lacrosse team, they dropped their second game in a row when they fell to the Canisius Golden Griffins by a score of 12-8. Tyson Gibson led the way for the Colonials on offense with 2 goals and 2 assists on the afternoon. The team will be back in action tomorrow when they host Marquette at 1 p.m. The RMU women's lacrosse team also dropped their lone game of this weekend when they fell to George Washington University by a score of 12-6. Mackenzie Gandy and Megan Krause each scored a pair of goals for the Colonials. The women's lacrosse team, will be back in action on Wednesday when they host Gardner-Webb University at 3 p.m. That's all I have for the sports report for today. Now we're going to toss it over to Sonu Babu for the weather.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at this live view of the Pittsburgh downtown skyline right now. It's definitely looking more like spring, and it's definitely getting warmer than some of the previous weeks. Today, we're going to see yet again a high of 46 degrees, and it is cooling down to 25 degrees. And if we look over to the hourly weather forecast, it's 46 degrees at 3 p.m., but tonight it's going to go down to 39 degrees. And tomorrow we're going to see a low of 26 degrees, still pretty cold, but tomorrow morning it's going to reach a high of 44 degrees with a 55% chance of humidity. And let's take a look at the full weather forecast for this week. It's definitely warming up on Wednesday and Thursday. We're going to see it going up to the 60s and seeing some rain on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday it's going to be partly cloudy, and on Friday, we're going to see a high of 55 degrees and a low of 34 degrees. The coldest weather is probably going to be on Saturday and Sunday, but it's still warming up compared to previous weeks. So that's all I have for today. Let's go back to Gage and John on the desk.
Thank you so much, Sonu. That's all the time we have for this week's show. We'll see you on Friday.
First with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look,